When someone falls in love with you, they don't always run toward you. Sometimes they step back, not because they don't care, but because caring suddenly feels dangerous. They're not testing your love, they're testing their own heart to see if it's safe with yours. We're taught that love is loud, that when someone falls for you, they chase, confess, and make it obvious. But real love doesn't always behave that way. When someone truly begins to fall in love, fear enters the room with them. Fear of loss, fear of vulnerability, fear of choosing the wrong person and paying for it with their heart. So instead of promising forever, they observe. They test, not in cruel or manipulative ways, but in quiet, emotional ways that reveal who you really are when no one is performing. This video isn't about games. It's about the unconscious tests people use when love starts to feel real. And if you've experienced this, you weren't imagining it. You were being measured, not for perfection, but for safety. 1. They test how you handle their uncertainty. Here's the first way it happens, and it's subtle. When they start falling in love with you, they don't suddenly become confident and secure. Instead, they become unsure about themselves, about timing, about whether love ever truly works out. So they let you see that uncertainty. They might hesitate. They might pull back slightly after getting close. They might admit doubts they've never voiced before. And this is the test. They're watching how you respond when they're not at their strongest. Do you pressure them? Do you demand clarity they're still trying to find? Do you make their fear about your ego? Or do you stay grounded? Do you listen without panicking? Do you allow space without withdrawing love? Do you remain kind even when the situation feels unclear? Because when someone falls in love, they're not testing how intense your feelings are. They're testing whether their heart will be safe with you when love feels fragile instead of exciting. And if you pass this test, something changes. They stop protecting themselves so tightly. They stop bracing for disappointment. They start leaning in, slowly, honestly, and with trust. Because you didn't just want their love, you respected their fear. 2. They test whether you see beyond their strength. When someone falls in love with you, they don't just want to be admired. They want to know if you can see them, not the confident surface, not the composed exterior they show the world, but the quiet truth underneath. So they allow cracks to appear. They talk about things they usually brush past, old disappointments, regrets they never fully processed, fears they've learned to hide behind humor or ambition. This isn't oversharing, it's a quiet invitation. And this is the test. They're watching to see what you focus on. Do you only love the strong version of them, the capable, impressive, put-together one? Or can you sit with the parts of them that feel unsure, messy, unfinished? They notice whether you flinch when they admit weakness, whether your tone changes, whether you subtly pull away when the image becomes more human and less ideal. If you respond with curiosity instead of judgment, with patience instead of discomfort, something in them softens. Because falling in love means risking the possibility that the real self might be too much or not enough. When you stay present through their vulnerability, you answer a question they're afraid to ask out loud. If you really know me, will you still choose me? Passing this test doesn't require fixing them or offering perfect words. It simply requires staying open, listening without trying to reshape them, allowing them to exist fully, without editing. And when they realize you're not in love with their performance, but with their reality, love deepens in a way that feels steady and real. 3. They test your consistency when nothing is happening. When someone starts falling in love, they eventually stop creating moments to impress you. The excitement softens. The conversations slow down. Life becomes ordinary again. And this is not a loss of interest. This is the next test. They want to see who you are when there's no spark to chase, no tension to solve, no dramatic emotions pulling you together. They notice if you disappear when things feel routine. They notice if your effort fades when the thrill settles. They notice whether your warmth depends on excitement. This test is quiet, and that's why it's powerful. Because love doesn't live in constant intensity, it lives in consistency, in showing up when it's easy to drift, in choosing someone even when the day feels plain. If you remain steady, if your care doesn't shrink when things feel simple, they begin to relax. They stop bracing for abandonment. They stop wondering when the other shoe will drop. Your presence becomes reassurance. They start to believe that love with you isn't just a moment. It's a place they can return to. A place that doesn't disappear when the world gets boring, busy, or quiet. This is often the moment they fall deeper. Not because you surprised them, but because you didn't leave. 4. They watch how you treat people who can't give you anything back. This is the test you never notice while it's happening. They don't announce it. They don't set it up. They simply observe. When someone falls in love with you, they begin to watch how you move through the world when there's nothing to gain. How you speak to people who can't impress you, help you, or elevate you in any way. How you treat someone when kindness is inconvenient and patience requires effort. They notice your tone, your pauses, your restraint, not because they expect perfection, but because they are asking themselves a very quiet question. Is this how they will treat me when I am tired, weak, or no longer easy to love? They pay attention to whether your empathy is selective or instinctive, whether your respect depends on mood, whether your compassion shows up only when it's visible. And this test matters more than words ever could. Because falling in love means imagining a future where one day one of you will struggle, one of you will fail, one of you will have nothing left to offer except presence. If they see gentleness in you, especially when no one is watching, something inside them settles. They begin to trust not just your feelings, but your character. This is often the moment love becomes serious, because attraction looks for excitement, but love looks for safety. And when they realize your kindness isn't performative, your patience isn't conditional, and your respect doesn't disappear under pressure, they stop questioning. They don't just fall in love with how you make them feel, they fall in love with who you are when love is no longer being tested, but lived. 5. When they stop testing, love has already begun. At some point, the tests fade, not because they stopped caring, but because they found what they were looking for. They no longer watch your reactions as closely. They no longer brace for disappointment. They no longer hold parts of themselves back. The guard lowers. And you may not even notice the moment it happens, only the feeling that things are calmer, steadier, more real. Conversations feel less careful and more natural. Silence becomes comfortable. Trust quietly takes the place of fear. This is when love stops being a question and starts becoming a choice. They don't need proof anymore. They don't need reassurance disguised as tests. They've already seen how you handle uncertainty, vulnerability, consistency, and kindness. And they've decided that decision isn't loud. It doesn't come with grand promises. It shows up in small, steady ways, through presence, through effort, through choosing you even when nothing is at stake. Because when someone falls in love, the testing phase is never about control. It's about survival, about protecting a heart that has learned how much it can hurt. And if you pass these tests without knowing you were being tested, it means something rare. You made love feel safe. Love doesn't test to manipulate. It tests to understand. When someone is falling in love with you, they are quietly asking if their heart will be protected in your hands. They watch not for perfection, but for honesty, not for intensity, but for steadiness. If you recognized yourself in this video, either as the one being tested or the one testing, pause and reflect. Real love doesn't demand answers immediately. It reveals itself slowly through patience, presence, and how we treat one another when no one is watching. When love finally feels safe, it stops asking questions, and when that happens, something beautiful begins. Comment, "I see it now," if this video gave you clarity. Share this with someone who is learning how to love or be loved without fear.